So good evening, everyone. Today is Wednesday, March 6th, and this is the Economic Development Commission meeting. We have Craig Samuelson here, Greg Diley, Inga Hoteling, Jean QB. I'm gonna get it right, QB. And we also have a new administrator with us, Julie. And we have a guest also with us, Joe Didi. And Joe, I'm going to ask you a question right off the bat. I have never not had a quorum.
Right,
So how do we,
you don't proceed, you don't have a quorum,
so the meeting
We
is,
just can't vote on anything, right?
right, but you really,
We can have informational,
right, which we're gonna.
Discussion.
Because I'm here,
yeah.
so. I
okay,
guess you could show your pictures that you wanna show.
Right.
There's nothing being voted on.
nothing can be voted
It
on.
turns into a chatting session, I guess.
Okay, you want to join us, Joe?
Your public comment on your little list?
Yes, but
Yes.
just,
All right.
we're gonna be a little informal, so you
Yeah.
can just join us.
So I'm here tonight to thank you all for being the only group in town that ever cut their budget. So we in the finance committee really appreciate that.
Well, it didn't seem right for us to add that 1,500 back
I'm
in.
being a wise ass too, by the way, just so you understand. I'm a little different.
Oh,
I'm
okay.
joking with you. Yes.
Oh, okay.
So you didn't add that in. And the reason for that,
Because it was a special request
it was,
for just fiscal year 23-24.
okay,
And I didn't feel that it was necessary for the taxpayers to have to pay more into it.
Yep.
When we're gonna be actually facilitating a lot of the work ourselves.
correct,
To keep the cost down.
okay.
Now, you have to understand, Joe, this is my first time ever being a chair in town government. And
Isn't it fun?
it's been a learning process.
Plus your
because I'm-
regular job.
Because I'm finding I'm spending 45 hours with my career and about 30 hours with EDC each week. So, but I'm
Thanks for
cool,
donating your time.
but I'm cool with that.
Yeah, yeah.
But there's so many things that are behind the scenes.
Yeah.
That is new to me.
Yeah,
So,
may take a lot of time.
well, I just want to understand what the processes are.
Yeah, yeah,
And
Understood.
clearly make sure that we're all on the same page, which
We
is
are.
ultimately
we are.
to support the community.
Yes. So where are you with the website? Cause you only took $100 out of the account so far, out of the 15.
Right. As of right now, we had a member of our commission who was creating it.
Great.
And as of a month and a half ago, she informed us that she can no longer do that. Because she's purchased a business here in town and we're thrilled for her.
Oh, yeah.
But now we're having to start at ground zero.
Okay.
The little hiccup that we've had.
Yep.
Is that, the domain has been purchased. And I can't get information to transfer it over to us. So that I can then give that information to Martin. So Martin can then either take what we've had.
Yeah.
Bring that to fruition.
Sure.
Or, as we discussed this evening, he and I, I'm just gonna eat that loss. I'll put the money back in myself
But there's
and,
only $100 missing. There's minimal. out
well,
there.
we owe, there's an outstanding invoice
Okay.
that my treasurer is going to be delivering to to Laura and Melissa for $112
Okay, but that's still,
for what
that's not,
Pam had to purchase for the GoDaddy and the domain.
Sure.
So part of what we were gonna be talking about this evening is the fact that part of our whole initial mission here was to be able to create a website so that we could send out 477 letters to our businesses that we've already crafted that will direct them directly to this link on that website.
Right.
So we could start building a directory for our community of all of these 477 businesses. So I wish I could give you something a little bit more
Nope, that-
definitive,
we're
Joe.
good. You're
Other
fine.
than-
You still have plenty of money in there for Martin. You're good.
Right,
And just add that our goal is to make this something, Martin will build it, but we're gonna maintain it.
Yeah, Martin built our websites years ago.
So we will
Yep.
do all the content for it, so
Yep.
the labor should be minimal.
Right.
We're gonna make sure that we as administrators can enter all the business information, which you'll set up in a way that is categorized so people can go right to the category and pop up the business and
Yep.
have, you know,
It'll be
links
wonderful.
that can go straight dial in.
So your funding's available till July first.
I'm looking at a target date of June first, but I
Oh, good,
understand.
good,
Right.
good. I just don't want you to
Right,
lose
no,
it.
no, 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 I
Right.
don't wanna lose it because as a private citizen, going to the EDC meetings for about 2 years, I was one of the proponents to be able to talk to the EDC about, let's
Right.
create a website.
Yeah, let's do something.
Let's do something that could create.
So where will that be hosted? Once it's built? Website. That's be
It's
hosted somewhere.
it's gonna be hosted
Wix?
through the EDC at
Understood.
southwickmass.gov.
Understood. But is it a GoDaddy? Is it a Wix?
We're thinking we might be looking at WordPress or Wix.
So you'll need there's a fee involved with that monthly, correct?
Yes, there will be.
Okay. And do you know what that will be?
We're hoping it's gonna be around $80.
And do you have the funds for that?
I'm hoping to be able to take the monies that we have right now, which I'm just gonna say $1,300, just
Understood.
for the website.
Right.
Be able to have him build now what he has to build.
Yep.
And even maybe pay that maintenance fee
For whatever you have left in
Ahead.
that account.
for
Okay.
fiscal year 25, 26.
So it's only one physical year. And this is, and I'm not trying to be a jerk.
I'm not.
So it's
looking
like,
at
so now
making-
it's 24, like 24, it's 25, it's not 25, 26. The private world where we come from, is how you're thinking. But as you know, the government world, it's, July 1st.
Right, so would we be able to pay though
You-
a year, 2
Not a
years ahead
year,
of time?
not, you won't have enough money for 2 years, but whatever you have left over, you should be able to pay for those months, I'm
Good.
hoping. But then you wanna go to, so I have your budget, that's why I'm here, I got the budget book today, and I went through it. So I think you need to put a line item back into your budget for whatever, if it's $80 a month, there's 12 months in a year.
This quote, and I haven't gone through the quote with Martin, but this says $100 per year for domain hosting renewal,
Right,
$100 per year. not
for the domain.
That's
That's what the-
domain slash hosting.
Oh, good,
Um,
yeah, you wanna find that out.
so let's.
Yes,
pin
and
that
then the
down.
$80 was per hour
The 80
for
is-
him to
The 80
build,
is
Yes.
build.
per hour, but we're gonna try to minimize that.
No, but you should have enough in there, so
Yeah.
good, if it's 100 a year to maintain and host it, then you'll be fine. You're not looking for any big money is what I'm getting at, and I just don't want you to lose out when the budget season comes through, then, oops, we messed up. And your other issue we have, and it's not bad, so you should be pulling, like, so for Martin, right, if you go with Martin, you should go right over and pull a purchase order from Laura and Melissa. You don't wanna wait a month until the bill's 600, 250 bucks. They want those POs written right away. You follow me?
Yes, I do.
So, just smile, hey, I don't know the dollar, I got a rough estimate from Martin, but I need a PO. So they'll pull that PO and they'll encumber that money for you and park it. You follow me? So someone else doesn't, the signs you need are X, and next thing you know, you've overspent. Not meaning to.
We're hopefully not gonna have that happen. Unfortunately, my treasurer is not here
So
tonight.
That's fine. But you
But-
wanna write those purchase orders.
How far out should a purchase order cover? A month, a couple?
Well,
months?
you'll discuss that with them upstairs.
Okay.
Whatever that, whether it's a box of pens or it's the service of Martin, which is roughly $600 for so many hours, right?
Right, but those so many hours will be over a certain amount of future time. Should that
Which
be
is
a
fine.
month, or should it be 2 months, 3 months?
He'll tell you how long it's gonna take to build it roughly.
So we should
You
say, give us the amount.
I need 500 for
the
Southwoods,
whole Thing out,
yeah.
even if it's 3 months out.
right? I need 500 towards Martin's bill.
Right.
To do the thing. They'll pull that purchase order and encumber that money, so it leaves your account. Even though it's not spent yet, it's waiting for
Real
you.
data.
Right, it's real data, right? So
Right.
when you come in a week later and say, hey, we bought these beautiful signs for $3,000, they'll say, I'm so sorry, you have $2,100
Yeah.
left.
Yeah.
Because you've encumbered that money versus you write POs when you want, and then like you just said, well, there's some money owed for the work done to GoDaddy. That's
Right.
fine,
Right,
but that PO should have been pulled 2 months ago, and it's okay that it hasn't. You know what I'm saying? We're
I-
here to
right.
get you up to speed.
Right, and what I'm learning, and tonight's a perfect example of
Yeah.
it, is, people can make commitments.
Mhm.
But we need people to follow through with
Imagine
the
that.
commitments.
Welcome to town
That's
government.
a little bit of the
Yeah,
frustration.
it is.
So what I'm doing is I'm going to take charge of the POs because I don't believe that they're being put in a timely fashion.
I don't think they're being put in at all.
So we've had some go
Some.
through
Okay.
and it's worked beautifully.
Yeah, it does. You just
So.
need to stay in front of that. That's all.
So, right, and I have one in here that I've been waiting to pass on.
Yeah.
But I can't wait anymore.
Right.
So.
Okay.
I'm thrilled you're here, Joe.
Well, I didn't want to do this Saturday. I'd rather, I was here. I'm like, oh, you guys are meeting shortly. I'll just come down and.
No, that's
and
great.
deal with it. All right. So we're good. You're good. We'll see you Saturday,
8:20.
8:20.
So
Anything else?
I asked Lisa, what should I bring? And she said, just bring.
Don't bring any cookies. We'll have donuts and coffee.
Not gonna bring the cookies,
Okay.
but she said, just bring what you submitted.
Right, because we'll go over that and we, as a board, asked that everyone level fund this year,
Right,
which you're doing, you're fine.
right,
So really, there's no issues. We'll probably end up talking about how's the board doing? How are you guys? And you're gonna, it's like we just talked about, we're
Mhm.
doing this, we got this website finally being designed somewhat, give us another year, boy, watch out, we're gonna be something.
for a few months. That's what I want.
It takes time. The wheels in
Yeah.
government do not turn like they do in the private sector. They'll tell you that 100%. They just don't. They don't. No
What
matter-
is the
Yeah.
issue with Mark? I'm trying to understand where the hiccup is here. Are we, with
What-
respect to our,
I think, what the hiccup is
Hold on.
right now,
We're
current,
good.
oh,
The budget wise, last year they asked for money to build a website.
right,
It's still in there, right?
yeah,
And I noticed it hasn't gone down much.
right,
And was it a reoccurring expense? So if you listen to last year's meeting, 1 minute it was because the other gentleman did it on his own and there was always a fee involved. So the town was gonna pick up that fee because no one knew about it.
Mhm.
Then it changed to no, we're actually gonna build something the right way
Mhm.
and get it off of his lap. He's no longer here anyways.
correct,
So I'm here because now that, even though it was approved at town meeting,
Mhm.
it becomes a line item.
right.
So I see it in my book,
How much was that?
1,500.
And we haven't spent, but,
You spent a couple hundred. You spent a couple hundred, which is fine,
right.
but it didn't show up again this year. So I just wanted to make sure we're all on the same page and everything's okay.
so we're able to still take that 1,500 and have them build it.
Yep, absolutely. You're
we-
As
good.
long as we spend it.
I'm going
before
to
June,
spend
July
it.
1st.
It will be spent by the 1st of June. That
And
is
it
my
will be.
goal.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
That is my
Yeah.
goal.
That's what I was asking about.
Right.
And let me rephrase that. The POs need to be written before July
Right.
first. How's that?
Okay.
Right,
How's that?
right. That's even
Right?
better.
Let's,
The POs
and I
need
could
to
be wrong. So folks, if you're listening back home tomorrow, I am so sorry, but
Right,
Joe said it.
right, so POs have to be in. We're gonna get this website up and
oh,
running.
absolutely.
We're just gonna take charge of it.
Yeah.
Through
The
an
young lady that was
outside
doing it
vendor.
was great, but she's moved on and you just gotta finish it.
Right, right, so
So
It's
one
just a little
farm gets
hiccup.
a number to us, let's say it's 1,250.
You're good.
we're
We
good.
Submit the PO, it takes them 8 months to build
Right.
this thing.
What I'm saying is we wanna submit the PO now, not in
Oh,
8
yeah.
months. That's the
Oh,
key.
no, exactly,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, that's the
Hoping
key.
it's 2 months.
Absolutely.
I'm actually
Even
hoping
1 month.
3 weeks.
Three weeks.
So
We
once-
came up with a game plan.
So,
that-
yeah, Martin's very busy, but once he actually touches something,
He touches it.
he touches it, it's done. It's
Yeah.
just getting him to the finish line. He's one great guy and he does a
Right.
lot of work.
Right,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
So we already talked this evening or earlier today that the main goal would be able to have a open page.
Yeah.
And then the tab for our business surveys to go in and start building the directory. And then a tab for the restaurants.
Yeah.
Cause we need that for 338 and then a tab for events. Those are the 3 top most important things right now with this website.
Right.
We can build behind it when we need to, but right now that's critical. And we could possibly pull this off within the next 2 to 3 weeks.
Yeah, that'd be great.
So what other money do we have in the budget that's like that?
None, that was it. The rest is your
The
regular,
rest is our,
regular,
which is about $2,000.
yeah, 2 grand, economic
grand.
development.
And we're saving because we voted last month not to join the Chamber of Westfield again.
But we still have $2,000 besides the 15?
We have a little bit less than that right now. We shared those numbers last
Yeah.
month.
What about that gift,
We have a gift account too.
yeah, and we don't
Yep.
know where that came from, but we.
Nope, but we're going to see what we can do with that.
We don't know how we can use it, but
Well, the gift account's interesting. You can use it,
did you put that in for us, Sean?
so
Thank you.
we went around through quite a few boards and added gift accounts to them
Really?
over the years.
Okay,
Because you wanna get sponsorship money,
yeah,
what do you do with it, right?
right.
Lucius writes you a check to sponsor a banner. So if you deposit it back into the town, it goes in the general fund?
Mhm.
Hmm,
Okay,
doesn't, yeah, it went back into the
Yeah.
town, but it really didn't go to help you. You can justify writing a PO against it, but you only have so much money to write a PO against, right?
Right.
That never changes per se. So the gift account, that money will then go in there. It's like a slush fund,
Mhm.
basically. It could be 100, it could be 1,700, whatever you come across. So our park and rec, perfect example. Motocross Nationals, they park cars, they raise $15,000 on the Wally Park fields.
Mhm.
That goes into their slush fund / gift account, revolving account. They can then use that money for fertilizer, maybe buy a mower, stuff the town doesn't do for them.
right.
They want a span over one of the playscape now for shade.
Mhm.
Which hopefully we're gonna get through Verizon
Right.
as a grant.
Mhm.
So,
Good luck.
yeah,
So anyways,
but right now, Craig, in our budget, as we shared with you 2 weeks ago, we
Yeah.
have $1,226.50 out of our 2,000.
out of your 2,000.
And we've already figured that we got our postage paid already, that
Yep.
from our PO for for $600, that we already did ahead of time, so we had those funds.
Right, absolutely.
So we got the postage, we've got the gift candles that we're giving to the new businesses for their cutting of the ribbons. So this year, we will go through our budget.
Yeah.
But I did not feel comfortable asking for another 1,500 for the computer, or for our website rather, because that was something just for
Right, it was
the fiscal
around
year that we're
purchasing,
in
producing
now.
a product,
Right,
not maintenance. of
just a
the-
one-time
One and
hit.
done, right.
So,
So back to that gift account, we don't know where that came from,
Um,
or when it came in.
I can email you everything tomorrow.
Oh, I'm just curious.
No, I know, but I
was
can,
unaware of it.
I know who to ask and
Okay.
where to get the real answers
yeah,
versus taking all day to get
because
the
Jack
answers.
and I met with Laura.
Yep.
And that's when we were showed that other document, and
Right,
it was like, well, not quite sure, but we're like, okay, but it's legitimately
Mhm.
ours
so when you
slash
did
the
your,
community's money.
yeah, so when you did your fundraising this year for the small business day, right? You guys got gift
I
certificates
got
that you
gift
gave out.
certificates that I gave
Right.
out, and those gift certificates were donated.
Yes,
by
they were a
the
wash. They never really
Right.
came into the town. They
Right.
were made out
Right.
and given out.
Right,
So you didn't receive any money.
didn't receive
Right.
any monies whatsoever. It
Right.
was a clean,
Yeah, perfect. So how much is in the gift account?
a little bit over $3,400.
Okay. Good.
So that was gonna be one of my questions at the
I'll get you all the answers before that.
finance.
You'll have all the answers.
For Saturday,
Yeah.
okay,
You'll get them all. That's it, the gift account.
awesome.
Anything else, Walmir?
Feel free to let me know about your events,
Yeah, I told you the other day, I
Yeah.
know we have them already scheduled. I'll get that out.
cause it'd be great to see what we could do to help.
Yeah, We're just trying to
support.
finish up the church project
Yep.
and that's where all our time is. Before we open Malicious, I gotta get that finished.
Yeah, well,
So
it's looking great,
it is, it's coming along. nice.
And
Food
what-
pantry's done.
yeah,
I got one counter left in there and then they're up and running now. We gotta do the driveway. Move that ugly box they put at the end of the road there. Oh my God, you go away for a week and you come back to that.
yeah,
But that'll get moved towards the back. That's for their clothing drive, so
yep.
that works out well. But
Well,
yeah,
one of my good friends, Melissa Prifty, is volunteering now
Oh, yeah,
at the
yep, she's there.
food bank, and she's just thrilled with the way it looks and the
Yeah, the
operation.
process. Yeah,
Yeah.
the walk-in coolers came in,
Pretty
we'll have them
impressive.
wired up pretty soon. So,
Excellent.
and the needs up almost 48%.
I
So,
couldn't believe it when Sally shared that at the select board
yeah,
meeting.
it's up,
48% uptick
yeah.
of people in our community needing support for food.
Yeah, it's
So
interesting.
we have to get the word out to people to support the food bank.
Well, yeah, I mean, the farms do a great job. I
Yeah.
mean, they really do. There's a lot of stuff that goes through that back door. That's, as you guys talked about gardening, I was chuckling because the pain in the ass part of me wanted to say it, so I'll say it now. They came out with that program, they're coming out with that when you guys do your gardening, you put one extra row in for the food pantry.
Okay.
You know, and they're trying to do that nationally. That's their big push this year.
Oh, I wasn't aware of that.
Yeah. Well, they actually went to the agriculture committee with it and it didn't get any traction. But I don't think, they're great people, but sometimes they just don't seem to explain things all the way out.
Okay,
You know what I mean? Because when I heard it, I'm like, well, this is simple. Like you guys just talked about
right,
gardening. Hey, can you throw an extra row of carrots in? Because I'd love to have them.
absolutely.
So simple. You're doing it anyways, right?
That's
Yeah.
good work. My church made a big contribution last month of food
Yeah, good.
to the drive.
Yeah. It goes right out though. I'll tell you what, everything gets weighed through that back door. And everything gets weighed through the front door when it leaves and everything is accountable. Everything. I mean, they do a really good job
Always have.
of watching our money, you know, that there's nothing frivolous over there. And even their rent was $650 back at the old building. Their rent today is $650 in their new building. They gotta pay for some of the utilities now,
Right.
but you know, it's not a moneymaker.
No,
By any
no,
means.
but it's a
it's a
vital
great
part of
necessity.
the community,
It helps, yeah.
especially with what Sally shared the other night.
Yeah, well, she does a great, they all do a good job over there. You know,
Always
and
have.
they're not getting paid big money. So I definitely love what they do.
Yep,
right,
as
we're
we
good?
all do.
Joe,
Yes,
we
sir.
used to have a
Fire
fellow
away.
that worked at the station with us, and what he would do is, you know, maybe a couple weeks prior to an expiration date, take the stuff
Yep.
right down there, okay?
Yep.
He no longer works with us, and so we're throwing a lot of stuff away, and I'm just, who's the point person that we ought to be talking to?
Sally
Yeah.
Munson, all you need to do is drop it off.
Yeah,
Like if your crew knew you had X amount,
yeah,
drop it off. Literally, they're up front now in that green bin
yeah,
is designed where you can come at midnight and leave product. You know, and they don't have to be open anymore.
what about refrigerator items and all
That didn't come during the times they're open,
Yeah.
right? Monday through Thursday, they're open.
those? Yeah, okay.
Yeah, pull right through
God,
there.
it's right down the road from you,
Yeah.
Craig. It's
Yeah,
perfect.
and that's what we get from Big Y and whatnot, you know, we maybe a week and a half left.
Yep.
But it goes out so quick, in our end, it doesn't matter.
Okay,
They don't take anything expired,
no, I know that.
yeah,
I
the
just
Boy
hate to
Scout
see,
thing is
you know,
wonderful.
5 crates of milk going out
Yeah.
I mean, if we can.
Oh, absolutely.
so-
Yeah, they'll grab that in a heartbeat. It'll go right out, it'll go out in no time.
Yeah, okay,
Yeah, and refrigeration wise, I think we got 4 fridges, 4 freezers, and then the walk-in that we just put in is a fridge freezer 24x10.
okay.
When we were building the facility,
Good.
twice we had trailer trucks show up full of pallets of chicken.
Hmm.
And we just couldn't,
Hmm.
and it's funny because they're on the phone and they're great girls, but it's just cute. Where are you? What? Oh, the guy has some chicken for us. And then and I'm standing in there as we're building and I'm listening. I'm like, that's the trailer truck across the street with the flashers on. Oh, it is? Yeah. And the poor guy comes out, he goes, I got 5 pallets
Hmm.
of Tyson chicken. We got 2 freezers,
Hmm.
and you're just like, I can't believe we have to say no to this.
Yeah.
You call everyone that you
You would
know,
think, yeah,
what do you have for freezer space?
right. But now we have,
Now you got the big walk-ins.
we got the big walk-ins and Moolicious, we have walk-ins on trailers, but they never had power over there. So when we built the new place, we brought in 200 amps.
Oh,
I brought in
fantastic.
power outside, so I can pull a trailer
Worst
up and
comes
plug
to
it in
worst.
10 minutes and give them more freezer space.
Right,
So
so you don't have
Yeah.
to say no to the chicken.
there's a lot of money there,
Yeah,
literally.
lot of
A
it.
lot of money that just drove down the street, probably with the Springfield food pantry, whatever.
said, who's next?
But
Yeah.
it was nice that we even got the phone call, right?
Right,
So, yeah, we'll take
Okay,
everything. And you got my number, right?
yeah, yeah,
Call me and we'll work it out with them, whatever you need to do.
all right. Let me write it down again, just so I've got it right here.
You got a pen, 413.
Go ahead, I'll remember.
Just put it right in your phone.
No, I'll write it down for you, Craig.
Oh, there you go.
413.
Go ahead.
Sucks, 413-246.
Yeah.
2277. Everyone's got it, so it don't matter.
Yeah, we almost bought one of those, Boris trucks or something like that,
Yep.
just for that reason, just so you could fire it up if you needed to and,
Yep. Yeah, the insurance policy, if you ever need a walk-in, I got a fridge and a freezer
really.
on trailers, yeah, the Big E,
Yeah.
we bring them in when we set up our town down there,
Okay.
yeah. Yeah, and then they just sit, or we use them for motocross,
Yep.
or the food pantry. All right, kids,
Thanks for coming.
what's that?
There's a program where you can donate, old clothing and things of that nature.
So we can now.
Sold
So we, right,
An organization in Westfield, and then the proceeds go back and to the, food pantry, and which goes to purchasing more food.
right, so what we do is that ugly box that showed up front, they used to put it in the church. Now that we're remodeling the church, we took it out. Yes, you can drop off your clothing at the pantry anytime. They then sell it to West Springfield by the old Bob's, by the Rotary. Right there is, there's a.
Savers.
Savers. So
Mhm.
Savers, you go in the back with a truckload, they weigh it and they pay you for it.
Okay.
And that money is put into food.
Okay.
And it's a great program. I mean, they do very well.
One of the things we ought to try to get the word out then is a big issue down at the transfer station is when people do, the state clean outs and whatnot.
Oh, yeah.
And then all that clothing and whatnot.
Yeah.
And there is now a state law against, any of that clothing going to a landfill,
Right.
that. And on top of that, it adds to the cost of the transfer station.
Oh, absolutely.
Because
Right.
as that goes
Right.
up, those
Right.
disposal costs.
Yep.
And one of the big hits that they have out there is when people do estate sales and they bring in truckload after
Oh, yeah.
truckload after truckload. And all that goes in and any of that which is clothing.
Could turn around, make
Yeah,
some money for
Make
food.
money for the
Yep.
food, so.
Yeah.
Somehow, EDC, should, what we can do, or put our
Oh, yeah.
heads together to
Yeah.
get the word out on that.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Instead of having people chuck it in the big dumpster up there.
Or they put it in trash
Compact.
bags and then they chuck it, yeah. So
Right,
they know what's
exactly.
going in.
Right.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. So.
All right. Folks,
Thanks
have a
so
good-
much.
Thanks for
coming,
that
Joe.
confirmation, I was.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, and then we did do it for the 3 months while we were building, but now that we're done and that ugly containers in the front yard, we're back doing it. But that's horrendous. But
Okay.
we'll fix it.
Okay,
Alright, guys,
thank
thank
you,
you.
thank you. So, as we're aware of this evening now, we don't have a quorum, so we can't vote on anything. So. That's a little hiccup every now and then. So what we're gonna talk about right now is, we've already talked about the website, so I'm not gonna have to revisit that. Any first off, let me step back for a second. I would like to introduce two people. I'd like to introduce Julie. She is here to save our day. She is gonna be our administrator. She is going to do our minutes that I've been working on the past 2 nights from all of our previous meetings. But going forward, Julie is gonna do our minutes at the end of the meetings, probably within 48 hours? Julie's gonna send me an email with the minutes, and I'll send it to all of you to review. Any conflicts that you see within those minutes, send it back to me, so that when we meet the next time, we all have our comments, and then we can make an amendment to those meetings if or those minutes if necessary. So I'd like to have Julie introduce herself and share whatever you wish to share about yourself.
Well, my name is Julie and I live in Southwick. Should I say something about my family?
Sure,
Well,
whatever
I
you
have
want,
4
the floor is
children.
yours.
2 boys and 2 girls, and I love gardening, being outside. Love to spend time with kids. I go to church in Southwick as well. And it's a pleasure for me to be with you guys here and help you.
What's the age range of your kids?
The older son, he's gonna be 14 this month, then 13,
Oh.
and then
no.
and then 2 girls, 9 and 7.
Okay.
They go to
Okay.
Woodland and Powder Mill School, and the older boys are homeschooled.
Oh, wow. Congratulations.
Thank you.
That's awesome.
Yes, and my husband, he's a handyman. He has his own construction business, so he does remodeling, and I help him as well with that business.
What's it called?
Max Construction.
Yeah.
We have to make sure he's on our business list,
Absolutely.
so we'll have to double check that.
That's
So
awesome.
Yeah,
Okay.
give me
So-
the information.
we're thrilled that
Yes,
you are
thank you so much.
here.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Yes,
Thank you so
thrilled.
much.
I met Julie on Monday evening prior to the select board meeting. And I literally had a smile on my face the entire night, knowing that we had some support.
Is she employed by the town?
Yes,
Oh, okay, so, all right, so I didn't know if this was just a special arrangement for us, but, okay.
This is awesome.
It's the
Thank you.
week,
What do you
yeah.
do for the town then?
Three or four.
administrative.
Okay.
Four
Four.
committees.
Four.
Yeah.
Yeah, Julie's gonna be supporting historical, cultural, high-speed internet, and what's gonna become her favorite commission, the economic development.
It already is.
Well, reading this, I already feel like it's gonna be probably my favorite one, but.
Okay, great, great.
Awesome, Joey.
So we also have another new person here tonight. Jean, I was introduced to Jean as a participant of the select board meeting, probably about what, 4 weeks ago?
Something like.
Jean had put through his application to be the associate for the planning board. And there was 2 applicants, and the select board chose the other candidate. And I'm like shaking my head wondering why, but it's great to have choices. And then that following select board meeting, I asked in the public comments if I could be privy to Gene's contact information because of his background. And let's just say that our master plan goes through. We're gonna be working closely with the planning board. It would be ideal to have a planning board expert.
Mhm.
And he's got a little southern drawl. And he's just got a sense that I feel is gonna be a good fit for us. So I'd like to have Jean give a brief little statement about your background
Sure.
and introduce yourself.
Okay. Is pronounced QB, K-U-B, like QB, quarterback, okay? Anyway, I've been a resident here for 10 years, and last spring, saw that sign came through about, the 20-year program, planning program.
2040.
Right,
Yep.
2040. And it piqued my curiosity because I had been involved in planning when I lived in Charlotte. Okay, between years of about 1985 through 2000. And during that time frame, I got involved at a grassroots level with a homeowners association, which proceeded to a coalition of homeowners associations. Ours, I participated in, was the Southeast Coalition, which spun off to be an East Side Coalition, and the West Side Coalition became very, very involved in the planning process. I served on in the planning, when I went to, let me back up and say, when I attended the meetings, they presented a format that was developed actually down in Charlotte, back in the 85 year timeframe, 1985. And immediately recognized the format because I was involved with that development to a degree as it pertained to Charlotte. It was developed out of University of North Carolina, the Urban Institute. And so I was, involved in that, and then later on was appointed to the Zoning Board of Adjustment, which I served 2 terms, ended up as the vice chair for the Zoning Board of Adjustment, and very familiar with the planning process for Charlotte. And today you see the fruits of their labors. They now have a light rail system from one end of the county to the next. A significant growth in that area down there. I became immediately aware that, that whole format that they used really wasn't designed for Southwick. It really wasn't, but we have it. So let's make the best of it. And I look forward to working with the planning board. And I'm hoping to be on a member of the private, sector that joins with now what the,
Master plan implementation.
master plan implementation. Now, I think originally it was for 8 citizens, but now I understand it's down to 3. And I'm hoping to be one of
Possibly,
those 3.
yeah.
And that's where I'm at, so.
Okay. Do you have a philosophy toward planning, housing, development? Or anything that you would summarize?
With respect to the planning, okay, I will say this, and I said it at all the meetings there, and I've said it to the select board, is that we need to be focused in on affordability in Southwick. Okay,
Affordability of.
affordability, just affordability, period. I mean, last year I attended the budget consideration for the county. It was located at the school. And, you know, it was a 3% increase. And at the rate that things are going here in Southwick, and 20 years from now, 2040, your town taxes are gonna equal your mortgage payment.
Affordability of taxes.
Affordability in the town, because that directly relates to housing costs and everything else that goes on here in town. Right? And so, you know, we need to, and how do we, in a planning process, you know, encourage growth? Other than, you know, we need both the residential, but we need, you know, growth in other areas. Southwick has a lot of land. You don't see the pressure for, multifamily units here that you would in, say, Springfield or Worcester or any place where you have more people per square foot, which impacts, you know, road systems and things of that nature. So from the EDC's involvement and the Chamber of Commerce, you know, there's a lot of things going against us.
And you talk about, you know, multifamily and all of that. Everything I've read is that's more efficient.
Oh, it is.
than-
You want more,
Or you
more,
want more of it, right? I don't know if you're saying that spread out development is usually not as profitable for a town as denser town center development.
that is correct, but it has its breaking point.
Yeah.
Okay, and one of the things that I learned in the planning process down there is they'll tell you that single family units have 2.5 cars, you know, per unit, which feed onto the road system. But same thing, at the same time, multifamily units put down 10 more cars per mile, okay, than single family. Okay, so if you have, say, a 200 apartment complex in the middle of town or anywhere, you know, it'll dump 200 cars, you know, into the road system every morning, which greatly impacts, you know, intersections and traffic and things of that nature. We really don't have traffic problems here in town. We really don't. I mean, it's non-existent as far as I'm concerned. When you
Depends
get
on
to-
what time of the day.
Well, I agree with you because I'm so close to the school and in the morning time when you got the soccer moms and the buses and everybody else. And that's something I need to talk with the Department of Transportation because Powder Mill Road takes priority over Feeding Hills Road. And Feeding Hills Road is a highway, state highway, Highway 57, but a side street takes priority over it. Because anybody pulls up to that light, it automatically stops traffic on 57. There should be a wait time there and whatnot, but it's
That's an odd light.
it is, okay,
Yeah.
but it also goes down to the business park also. You see that there and coming out of high school. It takes precedence over, you know, local traffic and whatnot. But that's a personal thing because I'm so close to it.
Right.
But you're right, you know, from an economic perspective, density, but it does have a tipping point that has to be taken into consideration.
Right, I mean, ultimately it comes down, I'd like to figure out how to do a tax revenue per acre.
Right.
Analysis. Because that's really your primary value in a land in a town is the land and the more you can get per acre, the better. And a lot of
Oh,
people
absolutely.
don't realize that like a big box store is a whole lot less per acre than, you know, smaller shops. Smaller businesses are actually higher usually on per acre.
So I'm looking to have Jean be, our liaison with the planning board. Jean and I went last Tuesday to the planning board meeting. And they had, one spirited conversation about the Dollar General going in at 771 College Highway. For those who don't know where 771 is, it would be between the outside skirt of the Greens and Winfield, which is this, more of a high-end gated community across from the Hash House. There's a fairly good, there's a
On the west side of the.
yes, there's a 3.5 acre lot of land there that is for sale. And they are projecting putting in over a 10,000 square foot Dollar General. So it was a spirited conversation. Planning board they have a bit of a philosophical problem with it or concern about seeing it there. But there is gonna be a meeting on the 12th. And I was wanting to ask if I could have permission to speak on behalf of the EDC, but we don't have a quorum, so we can't do that. So I'm going to go as a private citizen. And I would highly recommend anyone else who might want to
Could have
go.
a just informational discussion about it, maybe.
But as we discussed in our first meeting, in regards to our code of conduct, if we were to go and present ourselves as a member,
Oh, right, no, I'm not suggesting.
right, so at
We
this
do
point, I'm
that.
not gonna ask for that.
Correct.
So, but just FYI, if you wish to go, it would be on the 12th, 7 PM. Their meetings, you wanna plan probably 3 hours. And,
So what was the tone though of the planning board meeting? I guess this is news to me, so I mean, I'm just trying to process it, but,
yeah,
we don't already have, I don't know how big that's.
it's been identified that obviously, yes, we have Ocean State, we have the Dollar Tree, we have
Oh, that's-
Family Dollar. And, is it necessary? Is there saturation enough already? Then on the resident side of the Greens, really not positive to have that store there. On the side of the Winfields, most of their patios are going to be adjacent to the land, to the property. So Levesque is going to look at the design and the flow. Obviously, it'd be low lighting. One of the things that was brought up was, well, on the back side of the property, there's quite a bit of space, so maybe we put a natural garden with plants that don't really need a lot of maintenance. The truck flow, so there was a lot of spirited conversation. Winfield is obviously not very pro it being there, strictly because their patios are adjacent.
What does that store sell then? What, I mean,
They are a business that has been established since the late 1930s. And the whole thing that started, Dollar General was to become a general store in communities that had less than 20,000 residents.
well, what is the one we have right now?
There's
Oh,
Family
Dollar.
and Dollar Tree. So,
Is there
And-
some common ownership between
No.
those three?
no, there is not. There is not. I've done a lot of research on that. Right,
Some connection.
right. And that was brought up and it was dismissed because there's not a connection.
Similar as far as what they.
Very, very similar. The one thing that the Dollar General has been really advocating with a lot of their stores, and they have an aggressive growth plan going into 2024 because of the economic state. Here's a way for people to go and purchase things at a lesser amount, is produce. So where it's another alternative for, say, grocery shopping.
Hmm.
So.
They compete on just underneath Walmart. They try to undercut Walmart.
Well, let's put it this way. Right now, Target's main focus is to put them out of business. Because they feel that they're in competition.
Target?
Yeah,
Well, Target and Walmart would both be
so
competitors.
definitely strong competitors. So, we're just gonna see what happens. But I am planning on attending the 12th meeting and sharing some data points that I've been doing some research on with Dollar General. Just for food for thought.
So it seems like your emphasis, you said, is food products, and I mean,
Food products, decor, household items. So virtually anything that you would go to and see probably at a dollar store would be very similar to what you would be seeing at a Dollar General. Though Dollar General, from doing research on them, they carry a lot of name brands at a discounted price. One of the things that was brought up by some in the community is, could we stipulate in the special permit to have them not have anything out in front of their store? Where a lot of times, a lot of the Dollar Generals have the big boxes full of noodles, the swimming noodles and different paraphernalia. Do we want that? Maybe not. And maybe instead of 45 parking spaces, maybe 20. So it's just an initial starting of a conversation, but I do believe that if you have a comment or a food for thought for the planning board, go and raise your hand.
so have they already purchased the property subject?
No.
Approval?
No, they've
No. The property's still for
identified it
sale.
as one that they would like to purchase. So,
It's nice that we're starting this project, at the beginning rather than coming in just before.
absolutely.
So how does the farm, the ag community feel about it?
There was not any members there. So, but once again, the meeting's on the 12th and I highly recommend you to go. Got a question,
Yes,
Julie?
I'm sorry. So if we have comments, do you have to read it or we have to read it? This is
Okay.
about.
I'm just wondering.
You wanna read it out for us?
What's that?
Well, when you guys spoke about Dollar General, Jason.
Jason?
Yeah,
Yes,
Jason
you
has strong
mentioned-
opinions
Yes,
about
sorry,
it.
yes, so
Mhm.
he said, we have farms. Why would we need, or to buy produce at Dollar General? I mean, that makes sense. They don't, I guess.
Procedurally though, what does the planning board have the wherewithal to prohibit another store in town?
Well,
Or
they put through a request. So yes, the planning board could have an opinion as to whether it goes forward or not. But once again, I do believe if people in the community come and raise their hand, that it will be listened to. So that's all I have to say at this moment about that. So let's get back to our agenda. This has been a little bit of a loose meeting. Normally, we have a full house. Maybe a couple of members that aren't here, but I know three why they're not, and so we're just gonna move on. So the signs for the WIC. I have two designs that we came back with. And you all remember the initial signs that I had shown that was primarily advertising the 338 and then our QR code. So Spotlight Graphics came back with two additional options. And I don't know, Jean, if you want to like pop behind me, or
Sure.
Craig, if you wanna come over as well. But I'm so used to having my mouse. Come on. Can't get it really any bigger, but this is the first design.
Mhm.
Now, we have to remember that these signs are going to be 4 foot in width and 8 foot in length. Big, double-sided corrugated material. So that's the first sign. And when you look at it, you think food, right? Okay. And the WIC supports our Southwick eateries, you should too, keeping it real simple. This is the second design option. So we can't vote on it, but can we have opinions?
Well, let's have a discussion, and this, that first one, I wasn't crazy about. This one is a little more clear about and it has the center stage of the eating ware.
And we've got to remember the size of this
Oh, yeah.
could
No,
be comparable to this. Does this look like 4 feet wide?
Roughly, yeah.
And
Right.
let's maybe
No, I,
8 feet. Let's say this table up to here would probably be the size of the sign.
I thought there was some recommendation as far as pointing to that QR code and.
Right, and that's where I gave them thought of like putting the hand with the finger and put dine here. But I'm having, these are graphic designers that were thinking, well, that might look a little tacky.
Mhm.
So how can we build in, okay, you're here at the WIC, forks and knives and spoons. The WIC supports our Southwick Eaters, you should too. And then the QR code, I know it's hard to see, but in the middle of the QR code, there's a fork, a knife, and a spoon.
I mean, I'm not crazy about either of them. Spent my life in advertising, and those would be terrible ads.
So then come up with one. All I know is we
I
need
know that
to,
we have to feature the web, which is fine. I mean, that phrase "you should too" is
Yeah.
scolding. It's awful. You don't,
It is.
it's talking down to people.
Right.
okay,
Um,
so,
advertising is all about the benefit to the person. And this doesn't convey benefits. It's just scolding,
Yeah.
lecturing.
okay,
The first sign, you have a round plate, okay,
that looks like a wheel.
which is like, I don't know, was that supposed to?
I didn't
take
know it was
up
a
4
plate.
foot? Yeah. And then the other rest of it, it's not proportionate to a 4x8. It's more proportionate to a square than it is to a 4x8. So the second sign has more appeal because you have the forks and the knives and that sort. So that drags out. But to your point, the "you should too" needs to go.
Yeah, that's awful.
That is, it needs to be more. Local restaurants.
Right, the clarity is number one.
Right.
You gotta just glance at it. Oh,
So what
If you-
what could happen then is the WIC 338, support our Southwick eateries, click here or scan here.
that's better. It's
Uh,
not great, but it's surely better than that.
it's better.
Yes, we have a small space if we were to go with this type of a format. So unfortunately though, we can't make any decisions tonight.
Yeah.
Can you
So-
email those to us or no?
I will.
Yeah, okay.
Yep,
All right.
I'll
Yeah,
do
I'll
those.
give some thought to it and maybe have some.
Yeah.
ideas.
So
Same here.
at this point, what's gonna happen now is we're gonna be behind again in getting these signs done for the March events. So my fear is that Rick is gonna have these 3 big spots. And I wanna have him hold them for us, but we're going to have to make a decision the next meeting.
Yeah, I mean,
So-
we're stuck this meeting anyway.
Yeah,
so-
we're stuck. So that's what's happening with the web. And just to bring you up to speed, Jean, and you've got last month's meeting in there, so you've got the last month.
Can you possibly get back with your planner and tell them what some of the criticism was and see if they don't?
I'm gonna have them come up with a couple of other ideas.
Well, and we could propose some, it
Mhm.
seems clear they're, graphic designers can be ad designers, or they can be,
Mhm.
not ad designers, these are not ad designers, but,
So,
or not copywriters, maybe they're designers, not copywriters.
don't know. So with, what's happening is the 338 is where they hold all the motocross events and the other outdoor events. And the, gentleman and his son who runs 338 has agreed to give us high traffic visible locations for foot traffic at no cost. And I'm working through his sign company, Spotlight Graphic, here in Southwick, woman-owned company, not that it makes a difference, but at $200 a pop. So that's a
Good value.
That's what,
great price,
But we've
and-
used these for a long time, so let's get it right.
right?
Let's make
So-
sure there's something we like.
When you look in your packet, you're gonna see right after the agenda, the letter that I created to our restaurateurs. I picked up tonight my original copies that I had printed on our letterhead in our pretty green print. So the way that the letter reads, and I shared it with Greg for his approval for
Right, and
wordsmithing,
you
which
say-
we had all
You say a
approved.
letter, it's actually an email.
I'm gonna hand deliver some of these to people
Okay.
directly, but then I'm also gonna email them too. So it reads, greeting restaurateur. For those who haven't met me, I'm Inga Hoteling, the Chair of the Economic Development Commission as of September of 2023. I am so excited to share that Rick Johnson at the WIC 338 and the EDC are in partnership for the 2024 entire season. And there will be 3 4x8 outdoor double-sided signs that will have a QR code in the shape of Southwick, but unfortunately that can't be done now. At the best foot traffic real estate at the track, directing them to you, the eateries in town. Woo-hoo! This is so exciting. We are in process of completing the design, and I can't wait to share it with you. There is no cost to you. This is on the EDC. We are thrilled to be supporting your business. I need to have a brief chat with you confirming hours, takeout, and if delivery is an option for the Nationals. Please contact me at my cell phone and leave a message if I'm not available. My goal is to have the signs up by mid-March, so don't delay, call me today. So I'm still going to put these out to the restaurants this week.
So what happens with that information? Drive up window and all that? What happens with that information?
It goes on our website
Right.
for our restaurant listings.
Yeah.
So they know what Fresh Fields is gonna offer.
Right, so we can't put these signs out to the websites either.
The signs are not gonna even be being produced now until the end of March.
Right, but we weren't gonna have the website ready till then anyway, so.
We could. In theory, we could after my conversation with Martin today. He knows the importance of us to get that survey out. It's vital. and the restaurants. So,
I thought Martin was coming tonight, no? Okay,
you know,
I thought I'd read that, so I don't know what I. Okay.
We talked about.
we
it
were
last time.
hoping that that could happen, but there's a big delay. So, so that's the letter that's gonna go out, hand delivered from me, and also go out into the emails. So I'm hoping that people are excited about that.
And for the email, the subject line is what?
Oh, I've got that note.
Because in an email, the subject line is the most important piece.
What was it that you had said the other night, Greg? I have it at my home on my
Well,
desk.
I suggested lead with free advertising opportunity of WIC 338, something like that.
Free advertising at.
Yeah.
3:38. For entire season.
Free is the most important portion.
Yep. For
Get their
entire
attention.
season. So that's what we had discussed 2 weeks ago, and now it's done. So going into the next page of the agenda is the Southwick Businesses in Bloom. This was Craig's idea, courtesy of his charming wife, Diane.
I thought Diane was gonna be it.
Diane,
Has a lot on her plate.
yeah, she probably won't be anywhere for 6 months.
Yep.
Yeah, she's got overload.
So Diane and I ran into each other at the grocery store a couple weeks ago.
She shouldn't even been in the grocery store.
So, but she had those flat pretzels in her basket, so they might have benefited you there, Craig. So, so I had a chat with Diane at, the grocery store. And then Diane and I had a brief chat today as well. And what we're gonna end up having to do is we're gonna have to find someone to spearhead this out of our commission, because Diane is not gonna be able to devote the time to it. So everyone just start thinking if they might want to spearhead this. And if this is the right timing for us to do this year.
You know, can I say something?
Absolutely, Craig. We just can't vote on anything.
This Diane could do this with her eyes closed, and I feel bad that she's got so much on her platter. It's not so much just one project, but it might as well be 20 projects because of the size of it. She could do this with her eyes closed, and there's part of me, I'm getting a real check in the spirit as far as what we're taking on and the fact that we're sort of a mile wide and inch deep and we're not getting good traction. And it's not that we only have one chance to make the first impression, but we sort of do, you know, and I just don't, I'm concerned about getting the website done, and it seems like we have a few other things, and I don't want to see us all stressed out and doing something halfway. So, I mean, even though we brought this forward, I'm certainly okay if it needs to delay to do it upright. And we can't find the right person, so that's all I'm gonna say about that.
Well, that's why I said we need to think about whether this might be the right time for us to do this year.
And I just think spring is 2 weeks away. I mean, we're just really tight on it.
There's so many ideas that need to go into this. I mean, to make this work right, you know, between the local farms and all that kind of stuff. I think we could lay a lot of the groundwork this year, and I think that needs to be done. You know, I think we need 6 months of advanced planning, you know, going into something like this, and,
Yeah, I would agree. Let's talk about that next week. hopefully.
Yep. So, I'm gonna roll this over into our agenda for the following, meeting. Diane and I have discussed that what would be ideal is when we have a member of our commission that's willing to want to spearhead this. Diane and I would be wanting to do a 45-minute virtual meeting with this person and talk about her way of envisioning how to do it successfully, determine how we want it to be laid out. Do we want to bring in sustainability? Do we want to bring in composting? How do we want to address this? Because there's so many different angles. And then let's think about what we want to task the businesses. And then how do we want to vote on them? So this can be a phenomenal project for our community. But I think right now, and tonight's a perfect reflection of the lack of participation within our commission. And I understand we all have lives, but we're gonna have to put this back or ahead a couple of weeks.
And it needs to have a clear name, I don't know, turn on something, Southwick and Bloom, not necessarily that, but we need a name to spearhead it.
Well, and that's why I say, you know, then, yeah, as opposed to frustrating ourselves and finding somebody that could be a point person, I think she'd be willing, you know, to, start assuming some responsibilities at some point. It's just not now. It
Yep.
would be too late for this year, so I hate to see us, with what, I know what she has in mind, we talked about this, but as far as really engaging, you know, the farms and the flower shops and all, it's, yeah, there's a lot to it. And I think we should have some discussions amongst ourselves as far as, like you said, themes and all,
And what is it that we ultimately wanna
Yeah.
accomplish here? So,
We wanna have something that identifies, that upgrades the community spirit of our town.
But you know
absolutely,
what? Once that website's up, we can start marketing this, and you
We
know, there's no
can.
reason we
Yeah.
can't, you know, start building the anticipation.
and we can have those conversations like with the Cowards, the Calabreses, the Ray's Farm, the even Tractor Supply and say, can we do this as a collaboration?
Right,
And what can we offer to our business community to help soften the expense? And so, yeah, there's multiple layers here. Phenomenal idea. And we all expressed at the last meeting, wow, the town could benefit from this. And you were at the meeting, so
Yeah.
you're aware of that. So we're gonna roll this over into our next meeting. And maybe Julie might want to spearhead it. She's a gardener and she has a greenhouse.
Well,
When she has a
And
whole lot
4
of time.
kids. And she's got
only-
4
with only
children.
4 kids, Has just. all kinds of
Yeah,
free
well,
time.
it's going to be a team effort, you know, anyway.
It's gotta
so I
be,
mean,
it's gotta be.
yeah,
absolutely.
yeah, it's not a one woman show or one.
No,
man show.
but we need to have a point person that's going to hold others
Yeah,
accountable.
exactly.
So the next thing in your packet here is the Town of Southwick Boards, Commissions and Committee meetings. So I just sat down one night and wrote down from the listing of the way that it is that I get from the Board of Assessors, the boards, when they meet and what time. So 1-page, simple document. And stressing the fact that, yes, we need to be more involved with what's happening with the other meetings. I've got the select board meeting covered. I got the ag meeting covered because I'm gonna attend those myself. Jean is hopefully gonna wanna take on the planning board meetings. And I know Greg, you had mentioned maybe the historical.
Yeah, that's a night that's open for me Monday.
Yep, so this is just gonna be a great 1-page for us to look at. And know what's happening so that if you want to choose to go to the meeting, I really would love to see ourselves being present at as many of these meetings as possible, especially with a pending 2040 master plan being approved. Everyone's gonna have to play in the sandbox together, and that's what ultimately I want to happen in the town hall, is for us to work in harmony and cross-pollinate.
So do we not have a discussion about at least, if nothing else, getting minutes from these sent to us from these?
Do you want minutes?
From all these,
Okay.
They're
used to do
all
that.
on, in the town, but in
They're on the website.
the town website.
Do you want tangible ones, Craig?
I mean, it's just, we used to have a pile of them from each one of these committees, you know, at each one of our meetings. And it's set in the center there, and we'd all kind of pass around as we're going through the meetings, and if something jumped out that we should be aware of, we would see that, but
So I'll put that on the agenda for the next meeting as
I don't know
to,
how cumbersome that is, but I mean, administratively, couldn't they get that together for us, maybe? Pull them off the website and print them up?
well, that's something that we would probably talk to Julie about. to see if Julie would be able to pull specific meetings.
If they were emailed as attachments, would that be adequate? You want them printed?
Email to what?
To your email address.
Oh, well, I'm not trying to,
I'm just wondering if you had them all printed here at the meeting, would that kind of bog down the meeting? That's something that strikes me as good for preparing in advance. Rather than coming in the meeting and start pouring through them.
We can talk about that at the next meeting and get a consensus and then vote on it.
I'm not saying everybody should have a copy here, but they're there for us to go through them. I mean, if we're sitting here early, whatever, we talk through them, I don't know, it always work and it sometimes brought up discussion for the next meeting.
Okay,
I don't know,
Yeah, let's talk about it.
yeah, I think it's worth definitely bringing it up. Now that there was a nice, easy document to navigate through for that, that's ideal.
you had this magnetic, so we could have put it on our.
I'll work on that if you want, Craig. You ask, I will deliver. So, okay, so we've got our the one-page boards website. I'm just gonna throw it out there. Once we have it solidified with Southwoods as to what type of website we're going to run. And that is a little dependent right now on what kind of data I can get from Pam. And I've got a little bit of a deadline, I have a deadline for that. And once that's done, I want to propose to the commission that we designate 3 people that are going to be administrators to this website. I am the first one that's not going to raise my hand because I work with this all day long, but it's not what I want to do. It's not my expertise. So my first thought was Greg, Amber, and Mark. So just think about it. If you would like to be a person on this list to really help do the administrative stuff to make the website fun and interactive and engaging, let me know at the next meeting.
And maybe a better word for it would be the content management.
Content
As opposed
management,
to administrative, content management for the website.
right. I think I'm getting stuck on that administrative piece because of how Martin shared that.
Right.
Wanna have
you
that
administrative
to
access to
access
the
to it.
website, but our purpose of doing that is to, you know,
Manage the
manage
content.
content.
So what are you trying to get from Pam then that Martin is waiting on? I'm just trying to understand the timing of all this, how,
Access to what was
Well,
created.
I mean,
That,
he
that's all.
has access. I thought we were gonna recreate it on WordPress.
Still
So
needs, he still needs to
there's no-
have,
Pam didn't do any coding.
No.
She just used a template. You know, the content is.
he can't,
Up
he's
here.
dead in the water. I
okay.
need to have
Alright.
either an editor's login
Oh,
or,
he can't access the
No,
website.
no,
Okay.
no.
All right, I thought you told me already that he could look at it. He didn't.
He got the link and was able to open that, but he can't do anything physically in it.
Okay, and I don't really understand, but,
So,
well,
so I need either one or two things to
okay.
be able to have him have the ability to transfer the content of what's already been established into a site. His concern with WordPress is it's a little cumbersome. And that's where he and Cole have been talking yesterday. We talked today. They're gonna talk again tomorrow morning to
See,
see
that's
if
what's
maybe
changing.
Wix is something like Wix is a route that we wanna go with.
Because the 2 times I talked to him, he said WordPress has all kinds of templates that you can use, and now he says it's
A little
cumbersome.
cumbersome.
So
that was
that's
the-
a change.
That was today. So, something will happen tomorrow. So that's all I can say. Something will happen tomorrow because we've got to move forward.
we got a lot hinging on that, don't we?
Yeah, we do. Yeah, we definitely do.
I mean, in terms of the content that's on the website now, you can copy and paste just straight from the website, and we can provide the video
He already has that in a flash drive.
and stuff, yeah.
That was already
Jason gave
delivered.
it to me.
So
So I don't get what's missing here, but anyway.
Weren't you two going to have a meeting?
We did.
With respect to the contract on?
oh, the money piece, I'm not concerned about that.
Yeah, we had a discussion last Friday.
Last Friday.
Yeah.
So how do you think it's gonna shake out in rough numbers?
I'm not concerned about the money.
His quote was
He's-
$500 for development. I expect it'll be a little more than that, but, we have that.
Yeah, we
Right,
have $1,300 still, so
And then we're gonna pay maintenance upfront for a few months?
whatever we have left in that budget, I'm spending it.
Yeah, we'll try to do that. I mean, we have to clarify that contract's at 100 a year. So that's not a big deal. The ongoing labor that he might have to provide is still a little up in the air, but we told him very clearly, we're gonna manage the content. So he would only be involved if we're adding tabs or adding, programming
Well, here's what I'm
features to it.
For this, we said that we didn't want another $1,500 because we've already
It had to go to town vote.
gotten that from the town, but as far as the maintenance goes, if that maintenance fee is $80 a month, don't we wanna make sure?
It's $80 an hour.
Well,
And we're hoping that we can have most months where he doesn't have to do anything.
And it's $100 for the year.
a year, so that's it, we're sure.
Yeah.
Okay, all right,
Yep,
okay.
yeah. So, don't really need to talk about setting a date for the business survey because it's all pending. It's all hinging on the website. So,
I hate to beat this up, but I'm struggling with this because if we end up having to incur $80 or $100 a month in his help, and we haven't lobbed it in the next year's budget, then that's gonna come out of signage or,
Gift account,
right?
they have a gift account.
yep.
Well, no.
As the way that I've looked at the numbers. With what we have left in our account right now,
Mhm.
1,300 for the website. We have until, in theory, the end of June to write POs on that. I want to have this website plan detail within the next 5 business days.
Understood. How much time do we have before we would submit our final request for
It's already been submitted.
done?
There was nothing-
Saturday,
Yeah,
to review.
and
All right,
if I can just say something to you folks, and I know I'm new, only been here since September, but trust me when I say we're going to get this up and running. It's gonna be as easy for us to manage the content as possible. It's going to support our local businesses, support our restaurants, support events. And we're going to have the money to pay for it this year to be created. Have some additional tabs available for us to play with when the time is right for us to expand. And Greg has done so much work on the backside in creating this list. And it's gonna be up to us to then promote it, market it with the help of the town hall, with the town crier, with going on channel 15, doing whatever we need to do to get the message out.
And I'll just add that even if they told us there were thousands available, I wouldn't recommend spending thousands of dollars at this point on the website.
we don't
You gotta,
know.
My whole career in marketing is you test small, you prove it out. Then if you get the traffic, you get the results, then you spend more money. You don't front load anything.
Right.
You start small, test, then move ahead.
And Martin has assured me as of even today that whatever they build initially we can expand it. It's got the capabilities to be expanded. So it's gonna be more of just making sure that it can be up and running within the next 2 to 3 weeks.
Yeah, it's not complex, the website, there's no interactive functions other than the search.
Right.
We're not e-commerce, it's not a complicated
Right.
site.
Right. So I'm gonna have more details tomorrow. I have no problem sending y'all out a message tomorrow saying, don't respond, but this is what Martin has given me for numbers, and this is his recommendation. So I can do that tomorrow after I talk to Martin. But I'm gonna treat this money like it's my own money, because it is my money, and it's your money, and your money, and your money. You all haven't put, it's our taxpayers' money. That is what we have here for this budget. So,
Yeah, I'm not as worried about the money, the timing, that's, yeah.
timing is, this has just been, it's brutal.
It is.
If someone was to ask me, what keeps you up at night, Inga? It's now this website. So, because we've committed to something, and we've not met our commitment. So, but we can navigate through it, and we're gonna end up being good in the long run. The last piece I have in your folder is our finance committee. We had the chair here this evening. And Saturday morning at 8:20, I'm here at the town hall presenting our budget. First time I've ever done it. I know in the past, when I was coming here as a private citizen for the EDCs, Mike would have a few other members be there with him, if nothing else, just to stand in solidarity. So, I'm gonna be here at the town hall for 8. Dressed like I normally do. And I'm not gonna be coming right off my tractor. I'm just gonna posture it that way. I'm gonna look professional. And
Like the head of our finance committee for tonight.
so, but I'm going to go there with the document that our finance committee already has. And be proud to represent the EDC, but anyone who wishes to support me as well, just be in the town hall by 10 after 8, because I go up on stage at 8:20.
Where? What room?
It is, so.
Hearing room.
In the land use room,
Plans.
so top floor, planning board. Yep, where the planning board meets. So,
The way Joe described it, it might be 5 minutes.
Yeah.
'Cause
might
it's-
be,
yeah.
but I wanna go there and make a good impression. And, share why I didn't ask for the additional, the 1,500, because it just wasn't right. And that, next year this time, I hope to be coming back here and asking for a little bit more, and you're gonna see the value, because we're gonna have some measurable results to
No,
be able
that's-
to justify.
That's important. These are all videoed. I know, because I watched last year's all the way through all the budget hearings, just to get familiar with what was being presented. And other people that are interested, they will look at that. Okay, how are these various departments justifying their expenditures?
Mhm.
And we should think of the audience not just being the finance committee, but the town itself.
Okay, yep,
And the message should be, we're spending your money very carefully,
very,
thoughtfully.
yes,
Trying to make sure it all pays out.
and we can measure
To the
results,
town. We can measure results.
right,
Because
Which
Gene
is-
makes a very good point. If we don't control, we're gonna price everybody out down the line. One thing I'd like to do, that is my goal, is to do a 5-year budget rollout because in the Economic Development Commission, we're supposed to be looking at long-range planning.
Right.
And I'd like to look at the trend line of all of our spending. And I've been asking over and over for the town budget information electronically, so I can do that, but it's just very slow in coming.
Maybe even after we go to the Economic Development Council meeting in Springfield, we might have some tips from them too.
Yeah.
So, but let's just focus on our website first.
Yeah.
But because we have such an opportunity here as this commission to make a bit of an impact. So-
One of the few on this list right here that is really an investment in the community, our budget. It's not a maintenance thing, it's an investment. I mean, we are taking and we're making good use and trying to bring more business and so forth as opposed to just, fixing fire hydrants or which need to be done, but I'm just saying, we're not talking linear, we're talking geometric progression here with the mere several $1,000s that we have to make a difference in.
Right, I'm hoping that this website, which is basically free advertising for, hundreds of businesses in town, alone would provide an economic boost to justify the website.
Right,
That's what I'm thinking, there's a way that you could, notwithstanding inflation and so forth, but if we could start measuring that and get that data that we have right now, and then saying, okay, next year, how much business is in the town, how are we measure that?
Right,
Well,
that's part of it.
right, well,
The survey that's going out is meant to be a benchmark for measurement. To see what impact we had. Website metrics, we're gonna use Google Analytics and
'Cause they're-
track
yeah.
how many people go to each section of the website.
we're gonna
That'll
have
measure
that,
impact.
right.
So we're gonna try to make all of this measurable.
right? Whatever website we get are gonna have those analytics. And that's gonna be important because that's gonna be part of Greg's expertise.
But how are
And
we going
looking
to
at-
measure except for traffic coming through town or on the college highway or whatever, we really need to look at all this kind of data.
Mhm,
Yeah.
Yep, and that's where even with this 338, here we are, the weekends, events are happening. I'm gonna be, when I talk to these restaurateurs, letting them know, I'm gonna want to understand after the first event. Did you see an uptick in business?
Mm.
I don't need to know how much money they made, but if I'm hearing throughout the season, yeah, we're having to order more product. We're starting to see, oh, wow, we ran out of eggs.
But it needs to be measurable, like we
Well,
have traffic
that's-
counts and so forth, so we need to be able to stand before the next year and say, this is what your money did for you.
Mhm.
And I'm gonna suggest, as far as going out and, personally meeting with the restaurant owners, so that they don't run out of eggs, so that they're fully prepared to meet, when it is, and if they say, well, yeah, let's plan on it.
Yep.
And you need to know, one of the things they're gonna be asking you is, go back, because they all track their numbers, all right? And on this weekend, we can expect, like on Mother's Day.
Yep,
Father's Day, right, restaurants, boom, We want it to be equivalent to a Mother's Day, Father's Day type of event, okay, where, we're gonna get an influx of X number of people in the town. Okay, on that weekend, we're advertising your restaurant, and access to your restaurant.
that's,
So, I
Yeah.
think it's important that we sit down personally,
they're all gonna get this as well.
okay, but if
Which
we
is
have
the
contact
calendar.
names, have the
Yeah.
contact names and numbers where, cause I'll join in with you and visit these people face to face.
And part of the survey is we're collecting email addresses. We're having them opt into communication. So that we can go back and forth with them. And we have the ability to do follow-up surveys then. Was this, when we do something like this, at the end of the season, we could go out and say, did you see a measurable impact to your business during these events?
But no, I absolutely understand what you're saying, Gene. It's gonna be good to have that physical, warm, fuzzy touch with them as well.
Absolutely. Sit down and
Yep.
spend some time with them.
Yep,
Okay?
yep,
We
and,
want you to be prepared. We're preparing for you.
right.
We want you to be prepared on that day.
And if that's something that you might be motivated to help me do,
Absolutely,
we can tag team and you hit one part of the town, I hit the other part of the town.
absolutely.
So, but this is something that we will just, it'll go back on the agenda for our next meeting, which will be in 2 weeks from now. And then we can, get a vote, have a motion, get a vote, and have our marching orders. So our next meeting would be on the 20th, March 20th.
You think we'll have a website up by then?
If my magic wand is really on point, it's gonna have at least 2 tabs
Yeah,
to
we
be
do.
able to work with.
Yeah.
Because,
Yeah,
Right, we can have it live, but it's gonna take another few weeks to populate it with businesses.
What day did you say?
20th,
Okay.
that's okay.
Yeah.
I mean, just to say it's up.
yep. So, I've given Greg, I had this one for Mark, based on Mark's comment at the last meeting in regards to why aren't we aware of what's happening in town with new businesses coming in or business certificates being, posted. I'm getting these now. And I just gave Greg 2 of them. We've got Hillside Property Services on, obviously Hillside Road in Southwick. And also Southwick Pools at Woodside Circle. In looking at these, yes, it gives you some data, but I reached out to someone within the town and said, why are there no phone numbers or email addresses on here? Don't know. So
At least
I'm contacting Jess.
add them into the mailing.
Exactly. So I'm contacting Jess in our town hall tomorrow, who's our, the town administrator. I'm not sure that's her exact title. Is that her exact title? Don't know. But, I'm gonna talk to her tomorrow and see, can that be amendment? Can this document be amended to add those 2 pieces of contact?
I would like to see, you know, email and phone and a brief description of what their business is. And, 'cause
Okay, so I'm gonna add that
I
to
don't
it.
know what these businesses are.
I do.
Okay.
Hillside Property is landscaping, because I drive by it all the
Well, you
time.
wouldn't know that from looking
Nope,
at this.
nope, I know that.
And
And Southwick Pools, they put in pools,
They're installers.
Installing.
They don't sell them, they're installers.
I believe just installers.
Okay.
But that's a belief.
Your
Is it a
opinion.
fact?
And,
Don't know.
you know, in-ground pools. Is that, I mean, there's different kind of pools.
So I'm gonna add brief description to email and phone number. So I'll have that.
Which is what we're gonna ask them for. in
Contact,
our
yeah, contact name.
I have a
Yeah, there's a
contact
name.
name. There's a,
Name and
the
Okay.
name of the
Okay.
location, their mailing address, and who the applicant is.
Okay.
And these certificates are good for 4 years. And then they have to renew. So, so I'm starting to get that communication, so that's a plus. Other than that, I guess at this point, we have nothing better to do than to adjourn the meeting.
We don't have to vote, we can't vote.
Can't even
We can't
vote, so guess what, everybody? The
We're
meeting's
stuck
over.
here.
Meeting's over.